kids, what's up? Today I'm going to be doing a huge collective book haul. First and foremost, I am going to apologize in advance for the horrible lighting and setting. I am in my room opposed to downstairs in front of my bookshelf just because all of the books for this book haul aren't on my shelf because I don't have space. Yeah, that's how big this book haul actually is. So all of the books have been residing upstairs in my room and there are too many of them to transport downstairs, so I just decided to film it up here. I am so sorry for this bad lighting. Please forgive me for it. So like I said, I have a lot of books, 29 to be precise. That is quite collective if you ask me. I have been obtaining these books for, I want to say, a couple months, or at least since I have been on BookTube, which is just about a month. So I have collected a lot of books in the span of 1 month. I am trying to tackle it now because it has added to my ever-growing TBR pile. However, all of these books I do have a lot of interest in reading, and hopefully I will never have to unhaul them. Also, some of these books I actually have talked about in past videos, such as my Booktubeathon TBR or my July wrap-up, and for those, since there are a lot of books, I don't think I'm going to go into detail about, quite frankly, any of these books, but for those books I most likely will just kind of say the name and move on, and maybe refer to the video I talked about it in if you'd like to know more information. So that being said, let's get into the books. The first book that I have is It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vizzini. I meant to read this book during Booktubeathon, but that unfortunately didn't happen. However, I am reading it right now. I am about 100 pages in, and I am loving it. It is so relatable, and it's already made me cry, and I'm really enjoying it. I most likely will do a review on this one. And then I have Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. I talked about this in my Booktubeathon TBR. I wasn't able to read it, however, I will link that video down below if you'd like to hear more information about this book. Next up is The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight. I read this book during Booktubeathon and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It is short and I really enjoyed it, and I think I'm definitely going to pick up some more of Jennifer E. Smith's books. You know, of course, after I downsize my TBR, I should really put myself on a book buying ban. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So on to the next book. Then I have Everything by Nicola Yoon. I talked about this in my July/Booktubeathon wrap-up. It was an utter disappointment for me. I don't know if you guys want me to do like a book talk about it, because I'd basically be bashing this book because I really did not enjoy it. So let me know down in the comments down below. I would hate to give off like negative vibes as soon as I've started my channel, but I feel like it's really important to talk about the books, not only that we liked, but also that we disliked. So just let me know if you'd like to see a review about this. Next, I have My Not So Perfect Life by Sophie Kinsella. This is my first Sophie Kinsella book. I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. As far as I know, this book is just about a woman that kind of lies about her life on social media, and then she gets into some trouble with her boss. I don't know too much about it, but I'm really excited to give it a read. Next, I have Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Now, don't worry, I've read the entire Harry Potter series about 3 times. However, I was lucky enough to have a brother who decided to buy me a new copy, a new illustrated cover copy of The Order of the Phoenix, because my original copy is very battered. It is missing some pages and its cover, and The Order of the Phoenix was my favorite book in the entire Harry Potter series, so I'm very lucky to have a new copy of it. Next, I have The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I started this book during Booktubeathon, but then I put it down to do some required summer reading, and I haven't picked it up since, which I probably should because it is only just about 200 pages, but I liked what I read of it, and I do see myself reading it quite soon in the future. I have 2 Morgan Matson books that I bought simultaneously. I have Since You've Been Gone, which basically deals with a girl whose best friend goes missing, but before going missing, she left her a list of things to do during the summer, including crazy things like Kiss a Stranger. So I was really looking forward to reading this for summer. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I do see myself reading it super soon. And then I have Amy and Roger's Epic Detour, which revolves around Amy and Roger, who somehow end up on a road trip together, and it just follows their road trip and their journey and falling in love, and it sounds really great. I need to make time to read these. I know that Morgan Matson has put out more books, and I really want to read all of her books because she has so many fans. Next, I have the entire Young Elites trilogy by Marie Lu, including the Young Elites, the Rose Society, and the Midnight Star. I absolutely loved Marie Lu's Legend trilogy. It is in my top 3 favorite trilogies of all time, and I absolutely am so excited to read the Young Elites. I feel like this is going to be so cool, but so different from Legend, but so action-packed. I have a lot of faith in Marie Lu's writing, and I really hope that these aren't a disappointment because she is one of my favorite authors. Next, I have Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. I had to read this for a required summer reading assignment, and I really did enjoy it. It touched on mental illness, which is something that I really love reading about, and overall, I recommend this book, although it is a trigger warning. Next, I have Tashar's Tolstoy by Catherine Ormsby. I enjoyed this book, but not as much as I anticipated to. There was a lot of hype surrounding it, and it just didn't live up to the hype in my opinion, so that is why I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. It was an okay read. I read it during a readathon, so it wasn't that big of a deal. However, I was expecting way more out of it. Next, I have The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I am so excited to read this book. It sounds like a really cute love story between 2 misfits. Well, not necessarily misfits, just 2 people who haven't had the best luck in life, and they fall in love, but things happen that may or may not keep them apart, and I am super excited. I feel like this is going to be way better than Everything, and I still have high hopes. Next, I have Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen. Now, quite frankly, I know nothing about this book. I saw Sarah Dessen's name on it, and this book was only about $7 at, I think, Marshall's, and I saw her name on it. I've never read anything by Sarah Dessen, so I definitely do need to hop on that bandwagon. I know so many people love her as a contemporary author, and I really do want to know what it's all about. I am just so excited to read this. It looks like a really nice summary read, so hopefully I'll squeeze it in before September. Next, I have the Shadowhunters Codex by Cassandra Clare and Joshua Lewis. I bought this book because it was only $4 at a bargain discount store. Like, that's crazy. And it's in such good condition. It's hardcover. I was so excited when I saw this. I still have yet to read Cassandra Clare's Infernal Devices trilogy, even though I am working on Clockwork Angel. I have to finish City of Heavenly Fire, and then I have to get started with the Dark Artifices series before the 3rd book comes out. However, I do have to wait to read this book because I know that there are spoilers in here, but I just thought that this would be a good way to motivate myself to get through the rest of the Shadowhunter books. And next, I have A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I am so excited to read this book. I have not, been caught up on her Throne of Glass series. However, I've heard such great things about this book and this entire trilogy. I know that the 2nd book is, the best book in the trilogy. I didn't buy the other 2 books just in case I wasn't a fan of this one. However, I highly doubt that I will have anything negative to say about this book. Needless to say, I have very, very high expectations. Next, I have I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. I will never stop raving about this book. It is my favorite contemporary that I read all year. I love it so much. It is so different, and that is what I loved about it. It is not just a tale of siblings. It is not just a love story. It's anything but that. It is just a combination of everything, and it's so beautifully written and told, and I love this book so much, and I will never ever stop recommending it. Next, I have All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. I have not read this book yet, but it is very high up there on my TBR. It is yet another book that deals with mental illness and love, and I am on such a mental illness kick right now. I want to read as many YA books that deal with it as possible on my time here on BookTube and just for the rest of my life. This book follows 2 teenagers, one with an obsession of death and one with an obsession with living. But as far as I understand, they don't exactly switch roles, but they meet and they try to understand each other, and it just sounds so interesting, and I really want to know what all the hype is about. I hope that the portrayal of mental illness is very accurately told. I am just so excited to read this one, and I have very high hopes. Next, I have the first two books in the Fifth Wave trilogy by Rick Yancey. I have the Fifth Wave and the Infinite Sea. I picked these two books up because they were on sale for about $6 each, and I've always wanted to give the Fifth Wave a try. I know that the reviews are very mixed. However, I really do want to give it a try because I think that the premise sounds really cool. I'm not the biggest fan of sci-fi, but I've been looking for books to ease myself into sci-fi, so if you guys have any recommendations for that, please let me know down in the comments. And then I have Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, another controversial book. I know that a lot of people love it and a lot of people hate it. I know that the most common thread between all the reviews I've heard is that it has a lot of tropes, and I am not a fan of tropes. However, I did decide to give this a fair shot. I really do want to know what happens and what all the commotion about this book is. The premise sounds quite interesting to me, and I really do want to see how it plays out. I have Card the Mark by Veronica Roth, which is probably the most controversial book I've heard about in a while. I know that there are a lot of racism issues and things of that sort. I still do want to give this book a read because the Divergent trilogy by Veronica Roth is again in my top 3 favorite trilogies, and I really, really want to read this book because it sounds interesting. I know it's another sci-fi book, but I'm willing to give it a try because Veronica Roth, quite frankly, is one of my auto-buy authors. I will read whatever she puts out, and I do want to try it and see what the controversy is about. Like, I'm just very curious about it. Up next, I have the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo, including Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I do have 2 copies of Crooked Kingdom because I obtained these books because my cousin was kind enough to buy me just a couple books just as a spontaneous gift, and long story short, somehow he accidentally ordered 2 copies of Crooked Kingdom. I haven't yet to read this duology, although I've heard nothing but amazing things and people raving about it, so hopefully I like it enough to have 2 copies. Otherwise, I most likely will do a giveaway of this book. Just let me know if you guys would like that, maybe for like a subscriber milestone, because you guys have been great. We're almost done, guys, I promise. But I do have The Dark Prophecy by Rick Riordan, which is the second book in the Trials of Apollo. I think it's going to be a trilogy. I hope so, because Rick Riordan keeps putting out books and I am falling behind rapidly. I do not own the first book in the Trials of Apollo series, which is The Hidden Oracle. I bought this book because it was popping up at every BJ's and Costco and every store like that I've seen, so I just decided to buy it because I found it at an okay price, and I just decided that eventually when I downsize my TBR I will get the first book, and hopefully by then the third book would have come out so I can just marathon the entire series. And the last and final book that I have in this humongous book haul is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I saved this book for last because it is the one that I am the most excited about. I have heard nothing but great things about this book and its sequel, Gemina, and I know that the third book, Obsidio, is coming out in 2018, and I want to be prepared for that. This book is quite large. It is about 600 pages. However, if you see, there aren't like exactly pages. It's told through so many different like journal entries and just, I don't even know how to describe it. It just looks so cool. I've heard from everyone that you will fly through this book despite its size. And as soon as I finish this book, no matter how many books I have on my TBR, I will go out and buy Gemina because I really want to be prepared for Obsidio. Okay, so that is finally the end of my huge book haul. If you have sticked to the end, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and all that other great stuff. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!